Hi, my name is Boris, and today I'm going to show you the four exercise assessments that I chose for this assignment. The first one I'm going to show you is a split squat assessment. The second one I'm going to show you is a hip internal rotation assessment. The third is going to be a load squat assessment. And the fourth one that I chose was the guide treadmill walking assessment. So that's going to be our four I'm going to show you today. Okay, so for the first one, the split squat, you're going to have the client lunge forward, one foot just like this, and then they're going to levitate their rear heel, and they're just going to go down. Now what we're looking for, okay, when the client goes down, what we're looking for is we're looking for the knee to go valgus, so inward, which is what the client in the assessment was diagnosed for, was the knee valgus. So we're looking for the client to see if the leg goes in, kind of like this. Now when the client's leg turns in, what happens is that the foot supinates, so it goes inward, and now your bottom foot starts to, the side will go up, it won't stay flat on the ground. So those are the key things that we're looking for when we are doing the split squat assessment. Then of course you would switch legs to the other one and look for the same. If the client's leg is turning in, and looking for this improper knee valgus and pronation of the foot. For the second one, I'm going to do a hip internal rotation. So for this one, the client needs to be laying down. Now we're going to show, so the client, we're going to have the client lift his leg, her leg. Now the muscles that we're looking for here is the adductor vagus and a few joints that are going to be, or ligaments that are going to be checked here is the iliofemoral and the pubofemoral ligaments. Also, we're going to be checking for the tensor fasciae latae. Now, the positioning is going to be the client position laying down, the leg gets pulled up. Now the hip is flexed to 90 degrees, and there's 0 degrees of abduction or adduction, so nothing, not slanted this way nor this way, just 0 degrees. And the knee also would have to be 90 degrees. So what happens here is that we're going to turn the ergometer meter here. We have to place it right on basically here in the front of the kneecap here. Okay, so what happens is that you get the client to move your leg out, and we're checking to see what the range of motion is for the client. Now this part here needs to be aligned kind of with this muscle here, the inside of the thigh almost. So that it goes out this way, and then we check how far it goes out. Because you got to remember that when the person's knee is going in, that these muscles here, that the abductors here are all condensed in, right? And once we start pushing the leg out more, it's getting into that position where the muscles are getting stretched to where they're not used to, so they're going to be resistant to go that far. So that is the hip rotation assessment. So for the third one, we're going to do a load squat assessment. Now I'm using a bar that you can't add any weight onto. Well, you could, but it's for my cable machine. But usually people would use something like the Olympic bar here to use the bench press. So here it's similar to the first one, to the split squat, only this time where the squat's going to be different. We're using both legs, the traditional squat. Now we're looking for the same thing. We're looking for the knee valgus. We're looking for the pronation of the foot. When the bar is on someone, you can even almost see the rotation of the hip if you're really looking. Um, Personally, I would be careful with load assessment if the client has, if the knee valgus is very profound, like you can really see it, just because now you're adding weight on those joints that are already not aligned, right? So depending how bad the valgus is, I wouldn't even do a load assessment on a client if it's really bad. So anyway, so we put the bar behind the head. You could also do it with kettlebells. I don't have kettlebells, so I'm just gonna use this bar. You're gonna, like I said, a traditional squat. Your feet are gonna be shoulder width apart, and you're gonna go down, right? So, and then up. Now when the client goes down, that's when you start seeing possible knees going in, and the feet pronated out, and that's flat foot, right? So that is basically what you're looking for a squat. Now what I was talking about the hip rotation is that once a person goes down, they may tend to tilt a little bit, either depending which side it has you're having issues with. So there's a few different things you can look for. Again, if the client's knees are very curved inward quite a bit or outward, I wouldn't even do a loaded assessment, unless when the client does it without any load, it's hard to see, then I would add the load. And that's it for this one. Okay. So for this next one, the one that I chose is the Guy's Treadmill walking assessment. Now the reason why I chose this assessment is that it gives you an all-around idea of not only how the person is walking, but if there's any it's a little word I'm looking for. If one side is pulling on the other, like if there's any bad, I'm losing the word, but it's like a bad posture. It's not the proper way that a person's supposed to be walking. Their foot's not in the right place. The head, shoulders not in the right place. The hips are curved. Your back's curved. There's many different things you can look for in a guiding test. So this is why I chose this one for this particular client, because not only can you see the feet pronated, which is one thing that she was having a problem with, but you may be able to catch other problems that she may have. So there's three sides to this assessment that you need to look for. For the first is anterior, so from the front, which is my helper camera guy right now is doing, which is my son. So I'm a little tight for area here, so I'm going to have to explain what's going to happen here. So this is from the front. So from the front, we are looking for, we can look for the pronation of the foot. Like I was saying, there's make sure that the heels are in line with the toes. Right, so that's basically what you see from the front, is more the positioning of the feet, the knees, and to make sure that's all aligned. Now from the side view, or the lateral view, you can observe the lower back, shoulders and head if they're not aligned. So basically, if the person's head too forward, the shoulders are in, much back, or even if they're way too back, all those sorts of things. I was saying the curvature of the lumbar, and then the third would be from the rear. Now I'm not sure if you can see too well. I have a wall back there. So here's where you can see whether if the hips, if the shoulders and head are kind of sideways, or if the hip is to the side or either side. You can see if the feet are pronated. I don't know if you can see my feet. And trying to pretend like they're pronated or supinated, if they're out. So those are the three areas, the areas you can see from the rear. And those are my 4 assessments that I would do for the client that for the client for the assessment.